If you're exhausted today, this is probably why. This big blast of energy was between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we got another blast around 11, 12 to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're exhausted, you know why. Over here on the right, you can see it's pretty clear, but I'm still feeling exhausted from yesterday. I don't know about you, but I feel like there's a timeline jump around the corner. Get lots of sleep, drink lots of water, utilize ibuprofen. Sinus pressure, headaches, dizziness, nausea, all a thing.
He's already coming into power.
It's only a dream.
Wake up.
All credit goes to Sandy Diva. This is evidence that we're jumping to different Earths that have different Mandela effects. Today, we're going to show you that we have a rainbow moon, thanks to ABC News and NASA.
One aspect is that they are seeing a lot of color on the moon.
Let's now head to Joel Kearns. He's the Deputy Associate Administrator for Exploration at NASA. Joel, how are you feeling?
Incredible day for science from space, Lindsay.
What's been the most surprising or exciting part that you've heard today in the communications between the Orion crew and Mission Control?
Well, for the past few hours, the crew has been doing observations of the sunlit areas of the moon as they go out to the moon and they get ready to swing around and come back to Earth. And they have said a couple of things that they just called down to the ground to get our comments or just let us know what it is they're seeing. One aspect is that they are seeing a lot of color on the moon, and this is something we hoped they would see with the discerning capability of the human eye, because that could be an indication of chemicals or minerals or changes in the surface structure at the moon. Another thing we've noticed is that, in particular, our pilot, Victor Glover, has commented on the almost stark beauty of the Terminator, that is the place on the moon where sunlight fades into darkness, right? And what he's noticed, since we're seeing the Terminator on the far side of the moon, which we never see the far side of the moon from Earth, he's almost noticed how it looks like islands of light or mountains of light in a sea of darkness, the tall areas in the light still and the darker areas, lower areas in the shadow. In the beginning, when they first started observing the moon today, they have proposed some names for some craters. They've named one crater at the eastern edge, I believe the eastern area of the near side, or the western area of the near side, after their spacecraft called Integrity, and they named another Carol in honor of Commander Weissman's late wife.
Yeah, we played that moment, and what a poignant moment that was, and to be able to witness that, it was.
It's like its own, created like an underwater tornado. I've never seen that before. I was too busy looking at the crab, and then all of a sudden that came into view.
Okay, can you pan left a little bit, because it looks like it's leaving a trail on the seafloor. This is really unusual. That
is amazing.
Completely weird.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that, guys. That is amazing.
It's like its own, created like an underwater tornado.
Discovered a full-fledged river on the bottom of human interaction with nature. We take, and leave behind acid and rust. The river is perhaps the strangest of all, because it flows not on land, but underwater. Yes, you heard right, an underwater river. In 2010, a group of British scientists discovered a full-fledged river on the bottom of the Black Sea, complete with a channel, banks, a floodplain, and even waterfalls. It flows along the seabed at a depth of about 35 meters, is up to 1 kilometer wide, and has a depth of up to 35 meters. If it flowed on dry land, it would be the 6th largest river in Europe, larger than the Rhine. How is this possible? The secret lies in the difference in density. The water in this underwater river is significantly saltier and therefore heavier than the surrounding seawater. It flows from the Mediterranean Sea through the Bosphorus Strait. The saltier and denser Mediterranean water enters the Black Sea and sinks to the bottom, where it flows along a pre-existing channel, like a normal river on land. The difference in density between the river water and the sea water is sufficient to form distinct banks, a current, and even turbulent eddies, just like a normal river, only all of this happens underwater. Divers who have dived into the underwater river describe a surreal sensation. You're swimming through the water, descending lower, and suddenly you see the surface of another water, darker and murkier, with a clearly visible current. If you place your hand in this lower water, you'll feel the current pulling it sideways. River in river, water in water. Underwater rivers are not unique. They have been discovered in several locations across the world's oceans, on the floor of the Gulf of Mexico, off the coast of Australia, and in the Caribbean Sea. But the Black Sea River is the largest known and best studied. It plays a critical role in the Black Sea ecosystem, transporting nutrients and oxygen along the seafloor and forming unique benthic communities, organisms living at the interface between two waters. For geologists, underwater rivers are key to understanding how submarine canyons and sedimentary basins form. It turns out that the seafloor is shaped by the same processes as land, flowing water, but this water simply flows beneath another body of water. The Black Sea's underwater river was discovered using a new generation echo sounder capable of distinguishing between layers of water of varying density. When scientists first saw the data on the screen, they couldn't believe their eyes. The monitor clearly showed a riverbed with winding banks, floodplain areas, and even what looked like oxbow lakes, submerged meanders cut off from the main current. An underwater river behaves just like a regular river. It meanders, erodes banks, transports sediment, and forms a delta where it flows into the abyssal plain. If there were trees on the Black Sea floor, it would have eroded them. If there were bridges, it would have eroded them too. Water is water, whether it flows on land or on the seabed, and obeys the same physical laws. It just took us several thousand years to discover this.
This has been a Pinguinati production. If you'd like to support the channel, links are in the description.